Hello and welcome, beloved, to the Dr. Mumbi Show. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you are moving into living life on your own terms. Some are already moving into living their best lives. Shout out to all the people who have gotten in touch with me. Shout out Rasta Queen from Brooklyn, who sent me a message about how she's relocating to, some Rasta land in Tanzania. There's so much going on. There's so much going on. Everyone who has reached out to me, who has already started growing their food, drying their seeds, whether you're on the continent or across the world, may just more power to you, beloveds, more power, more strength to you. You were born for such a time as this, and the scales are coming off your eyes. You're going to have 2020 vision, but, don't be so emotionally attached to the lies you've been fed. That's all I'd say. But those are stories, truly stories for other days. And there's a lot happening. And, what this whole George Floyd situation, whether it was planned or not, I think now it's beyond him. It's all about police brutality. It's about, racism, and many things are coming to light across the world. And I really want to thank my brother who shared this from Namibia. He's informed me of a story we don't hear about much because, it's like the English-speaking parts of Africa don't really hear much about the French-speaking parts unless it's like huge epic news like them, trying to get rid of the French franc or whatever, and then the Portuguese speaking, like the Mozambiques and the Namibias of this world and the Angolas of this world, we also rarely hear anything from them. So I'm so grateful I got this story. And this just shows you, because remember, fam, on this channel, we may not cover every story, but we cover very specific stories that show us a pattern of the awakening and the restoration of our people. The first thing that has to happen for anything to be healed, for anything to be resolved, it has to first come out, into the open. It has to be seen. And because a lot of these things are perpetuated by the fact that they're done in the dark or they're not seen by the people, so they can continue unpunished. But what's happening is that two Mzungus and three others were actually arrested in Namibia for brutally beating a Zimbabwean man to death, allegedly. Now, 5 people were arrested, and what happened is that apparently he had tried to steal some glue or something, and then 2 Mzungu suspects are said to have gone on, are said to have beaten him up, plus 3 of their employees, allegedly. And he was basically, a Zimbabwean vendor by the name of Hausanani Zoo. I don't know why Zoo sounds Chinese, but anyway, and in a city called Otiwarongo in Namibia, and these two Mzungu suspects. So they beat him, the man ended up dying, and then these 2 Mzungus actually went on, are said to have gone on the run. Jonathan Patrick Myber and Jane Jansen Van Vuren. I think Jonathan, one of them anyway, owns one of them owns a security company, and the other one was his supervisor. And the Namibian government actually launched allegedly a massive manhunt for them, and there were even wanted posters that were plastered everywhere. And then finally, they were arrested with 3 other suspects. Some are said to be their employees. And Murdoch, as I said, it's Murdoch, this Jonathan Patrick Murdoch. And then there's even people, Africans, who are calling themselves Jonathan. Come on, fam. And he said, he's one who owns the security firm. Now, all 5 suspects actually remain in custody. Their case has been postponed to August 17th. But many incidents like this happen, and they kind of go without facing any kind of justice, unreported as well, across Africa. And so and then a lot of the crimes by Muzungus on Africans also do go underreported. So this is absolutely epic. This didn't even make mainstream. I'm still waiting to see it in somewhere in mainstream media. The thing that many people don't know about Namibia is that many Nazis actually fled to Namibia after World War II, and many still celebrate Hitler's birthdays. They actually still own shops where they sell Nazi memorabilia and power in Africa, in Namibia. And the country is still extremely segregated, with the majority of the black people being extremely poor. Many of them speak Portuguese, so we can't even reach them. And, there's been a lot of controversy about this particular statue called the horse, which basically was like a German Emperor Wilhelm II. And the monument was said to honor, get this, guys. I mean, these are the statues that need to go down. It was said to honor the soldiers and civilians that died on the German side of basically like the Neveru and Namakwa wars of 1904 to 1907. Basically, the independence wars of Namibia, they have a statue in the middle of the capital city that honors the Germans who were coming to conquer the people. This has got to stop. These are altars, beloved. These are altars. And I'm going to restart my Africa 101 so that I can just bring us all up to speed to some of the atrocities that have gone on. I didn't even know this about Namibia until my brother from Namibia reached out. I don't have my phone here, so I can't even give you a shout out, but you know who you are. Thank you so much for sharing this story. And the sad thing is they have it's called the horse, right? And what they forget, and this is like the brainwashing of our people, is they have a statue celebrating the Germans who died, but it was a genocide. So many genocides have happened across the African continent. And actually, there's a lot of rumors that say that Namibia was actually the prelude to Nazi Germany. That they had these, and I quote, the first concentration camps on earth were built in this part of Africa. They were erected by the British Empire, Truth Africa, in Africa, and by Germans here in Namibia. And so they talk about how this, they experimented on this system, and then they went and created the same, because they created a concentration camp in a place called Shark Island, which is now just like a bougie, super rich place where you just go for diving and stuff. But now that same concentration camp is what they copy-pasted to Europe and created the Holocaust in Europe. But because we don't tell our own stories, because we don't own our own narrative, a lot of these stories have gone untold. And then, generations to come will fight to defend a statue that represents the genocide of their people. But, we're in a new era now. All of this is done. Justice must be served. And I'm telling you, there are nations and there are peoples that have hurt the African continent that will bring themselves. They will bring themselves to confess and apologize for the atrocities they committed on the continent of Africa. Until next time, beloved. Tuko pamoja.
It's high time our black people start sitting around together and say, how can we manipulate the financial systems? How can we develop the political systems? How can we manipulate the industrial and manufacturing systems? How can we improve the banking systems? How can we begin to talk about agriculture, food securities? And as black people, we need to start addressing real issues. Our issues cannot be just women, drink, and food, and cars. Hey, I bought a belt from Gucci. It's costing so much. Hey, I got a Range Rover. It's cost. No, man, come on. Stop being trivial in terms of the quality of our conversations. When white people sit down, they are talking how to further manage you as a black person, how to manage your resources, how to take more land, how to make more servants, how to sell more, how to make more profit out of you. And yet you are sitting, talking. How many thoughts of whiskey can you drink per day? How many women can you sleep with in a month? How many girls have you made pregnant? Sis on you black men. We need to start changing the quality of our conversation. Move away from the panties of women and the drinks in our lips begin to talk about the content of developing our own continent. How do we develop the lives of our own children? How do we improve our industries? How do we utilize our land? How do we harvest our indigenous knowledge? Such should be the quality of our conversation. And I want to challenge all of us as black people that we need to start sitting, talking, sharing, developing